Hello, this is Hugh. I'm getting my Blade 120 S2 build back on track. The parts I was waiting for showed up, so we're going to pick this up where we left off. So far we just have the motor mounted in the frame. So let me zoom in on this little work area here, and then I'll get going on it. What I was waiting for to show up was these little tiny bearings, and these are the bearings that go into the support for the main shaft. So I'll put one in the top, and it's like a little cup that fits in. Okay, one in the bottom. Let me turn that top one around. Did it fit in there better the other way? Okay, yeah, I like that better. Okay, so now here I have the main shaft. This is for which goes down to the main gear, which is not in there yet, and at the bottom end it will connect to the I think I just pushed that little bearing out of there. I sure did. Okay, I pushed the bottom bearing out by accident. Okay, there we go. So now we got we have the main shaft in place, and the upper and lower bearings. So with the main shaft on there, now we can attach this is the main gear. And you'll see, if you look at it closely, you'll see a hole for the anchor, for the pin, which is actually a bolted little screw that holds it in place. So we want to line up, see the hole where we can see it. Just kind of pushing this bearing, make sure it's seated in there properly. So now, okay, now I can see the hole better. I'm going to take this main gear, slide it onto the shaft, making sure that the hole lines up. Okay, I'm just going to see a little light through there, so I'm guessing I got that lined up properly. Now, if you get it turned just the right way, there's a little channel in the framework which allows you to line up the hole in a spot where you can actually get a screwdriver in there. And that's a little tricky. So, kind of misplaced the screw for that main gear. Alright, so this is not a fancy screwdriver. This is just the one that came with the helicopter, but it's also the one that fits in there really good. I get my light down here close. And the third time's the charm. Alright, now you want to get that lined up perfect, because you don't want to damage that screw. You know, some of the screws they're not going to take a lot of abuse, so you always want to find the head that fits perfectly. You know, so there we go. All right, now we've got this was the reason we put the motor on first, is because once the main gear's on there, now you're going to have a heck of a time trying to get to that other hole that mounts the motor. So you really want to start with the motor first and the frame. And just remember, there's a black and a white wire, and the black goes towards the back. So black, back, it rhymes, should be easy enough. And you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, but the little pinion gear on the motor, and it is lined up perfect with the main gear, so that's what turns the main shaft, of course. Okay, so what this does now we can put the, this is the frame for the battery. I call it the cradle, but they call it a battery frame. So I put that on there. Okay, so now, for now I'm going to install this RHK. It has machined brackets and carbon fiber legs and skids on it. So this will pop on here. Oh heck. Okay, here we go. Alright, now that's popped into place. I make sure that, you know, the skids have the rounded front, you know, they curl up to the front like old-fashioned ice skates. So and then now we're going to have a platform, but first we have to put in the 4 screws that hold that landing gear in place. And I'm looking for an envelope with 4 little screws in it. Oh, wait a minute, I have those out already. Never mind. Okay, we have our 4 screws right here. So we'll start. And one of the reasons I picked this landing gear is because I'm filming this. And this landing gear is really, once the landing gear is already put together, this landing gear is very easy to install. It's not tricky at all. And actually the standard one's pretty easy too. There is another one that's an aftermarket one, which I think is also from Micro Heli, and it can be a little tricky to put on, as it fits the 120 and I think the 130. So there's like these little washers you have to use, because I didn't use them, and then I noticed that when I tighten the screws down hard, they went right through, and then the landing gear popped right off. So, for the sake of time, alright, that's not right, let's try the other one. Not the greatest fit for this screwdriver. I mean, it's good. It's got to keep a lot of pressure on it. Okay, there we go. That's one. And we'll put one kitty corner from that one. So this is and again, these are the screws that are, they're mounting the landing gear to the helicopter, but they actually go through the battery frame and then into the main frame of the helicopter. So these 3 components are all joined together by these 4 screws. Okay, here we go. There goes screw number 2. Alrighty. Oops. And hopefully I'm holding this low enough. That's number 3. So like I said, the RKH landing gear, once you assemble it, because you have to attach these skids to these mounting brackets. But once it's assembled, this landing gear installs really easy. And so does the standard one. The stock one also attaches really easy. And then the Micro Heli, and I thought it was Blade that made the other one, but it's not. It's actually Micro Heli makes one that works, and that one's kind of cool because it's also plastic, which keeps it nice and light. But you can get that landing gear in white, green, I believe orange, and black, and there may be other colors, and that's kind of neat, especially if you have multiple. If you have more than one of these, it's nice to be able to tell them apart. Okay, there we go. So now we've got our motor, and we've got our main shaft installed, the main gears on there, and we got the battery frame, or the carriage I like to call it, and we have the landing gear with the raised up part towards the front. You can always tell this is the front because this is where the control board goes. So now, what do we want to put on there next? Okay, let's see. This says Blade 120S2 Swashplate. Okay, cool. But you know what? I think first, well, no, we'll do this now, I guess. And it's real easy to get the Swashplate right on the install because you have these two big arms on the lower part, and the one has a ball that faces, that always goes towards the front, and the back, and the other arm has a pin. Well, that goes into this guide right here on the back, so that really makes it really simple to make sure you got this right. So get it lined up with the main shaft here, and get this into the guide, and there we go. That sits in there real sweet now. So let's see. I don't know if I want to get into doing the servos right now. That can get a little hairy. So I think what we'll do is we'll install the tail assembly. So here's our main shaft, which already has the wiring, and it doesn't have a motor yet. And I believe we have, let's see, oh, here we go. And here's our motor. Boy, this is all brand new stuff. This is really cool. So here's our motor, and we've got a tag on here. I'll try to clip off. Alrighty. Okay, that's good enough for now. Alright, now